What's up, everyone? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin, John.
And we have an album review for you. And, well, from a band we were really looking forward to, but we knew this was going to be a very, very different album. We are going to go over the latest EP from Blood Incantation, Timewave Zero. This comes out also on the 25th of February on Century Media Records. I believe this is their flat-out debut on Century Media Records, too. And, well, this is very different. Now, this band formed in 2008 in Denver, Colorado. This is their second EP overall. They have 2 full lengths. We've seen these guys. They are fucking... amazing. Like, this is top-tier death metal with a fiercely cosmic and technical and almost kind of progressive flair to it. But this is not that. This...
not at all.
...was intended to be kind of maybe a one-off thing, and they even said, like, hey, this is going to be vastly different than anything we've ever done. And man, were they fucking right. This is a 2-track EP of ambient synth music. And, well, it's really interesting. And, I mean, I kind of knew it would be because these guys are incredible musicians. But this might be the least metal thing I have heard from a very, very, very metal band.
Yes. I mean, there's really no way to describe it other than to state that, I mean, it feels like you're in space. And I've never been to space. I've been close, real close. But I've never been there. And it's synth noise. For the first 5 to 7 minutes, it's just noise. But not noise like Portal noise where it's creepy. This is more so just dark, lost in space. Like, pick a sci-fi movie. Like, really, pick a sci-fi movie from the late 70s to the early 80s, and you have this entire thing.
The first 7 minutes of the first track, Io, and the second track is called EA, or EA. There were no consonants involved in this at all. It kind of feels like every opening scene where you see a giant spaceship slowly pass by and you're getting the big panoramic shot, like, holy shit, this thing's fucking huge, isn't it? And I don't know, like, the whole, like, background sort of ambience, and then you hear, like, melodies start to spring up, but, like, subtly. Everything comes in waves, and they're very gentle at first.
So both these tracks are split up into 4 movements. So when each movement pops onto the scene, so to speak, the music changes a little bit. Like, the second movement of Io definitely has some more melody to it. It, like, leans out of, like, almost stuff you'd hear in, like, a meditation or something.
Yeah.
It leans out of that, and it gets into a melody, and it actually reminds me of, like, the interludes that you'd hear in, like, Tool or, like, Rush or something, but there's no drums.
This is like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, except on Quaaludes. And, I mean, 70s drugs for 70s sounding music, because I would say, like, the late 70s is where this lurks. It's very chill. It's very lush. The production could not be more perfect. There's a little bit of, like, an analog sort of crackle to it. And honestly, that was one thing I noticed right away. Is like, man, they really fucking went for the overall sound of this. Like, it's just kind of, like, haunting and creepy, but somehow it's kind of warm and inviting.
Yeah. It didn't make me feel uneasy at all. If anything, it's almost trance-inducing, and you end up just zoning out, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I was thinking about, you know, like, man, I could just turn off the volume on 2001: A Space Odyssey, Alien, Blade Runner, any fucking sci-fi flick, and this would be perfect.
Yeah.
And both of these songs do a great job of, like, making sure each movement is a little bit different, but again, the changes come on subtly. First movement of Io, very dark, kind of cold, empty space, but with warm synthesizers floating around in it. And then the next one, it kind of, again, introduces a melody, becomes more inviting, like, you know, that barren fucking alien planet that you were looking at, all of a sudden you're kind of seeing, like, oh, there's people or objects.
Or something. There's something out there.
It might not murder me.
Yep.
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool of it.
And then the third movement kicks in, and this natural like slow, subtle progression. You get a clean-toned acoustic guitar playing some sort of melody, but in like the backdrop of it all.
Yep.
Really far behind there. It's really quiet, but you can almost make it out.
Honestly, I really like the use of guitar, mainly because it's very minimal. It's all acoustic, and it's there to essentially just complement what's going on already. Like, it's not there to be the lead thing. It's there to be just another layer of ambience and atmosphere. And this album is pretty much void of any percussion whatsoever. So I assume the drummer got lost on his way to the studio and they never found him.
Could have.
Either that or he was attacked by a giant, Voltron-like robot comprised of all synthesizers, and it just blocked his way into the studio.
Or he was abducted by an alien and he's in space.
Yeah, that's how they got the idea for it. He sent messages down to the rest of the bands like, hey, I'm in space, and man, they got some cool synths up here, dude.
The second track, EA, still sticks with this theme, but it plays a little bit more on like sound effects. Like in the second movement of EA, it sounds like little laser beams shooting at times.
But they're echoey.
Yeah,
it's reverb, like, you fucking went on Space Mountain, except the mescaline kicked in and they slowed down the ride, like, substantially. You're going down the hill now. Watch out for the lasers. Oh, no! Yeah, that. Now, what I loved on EA or EA, either way, is the entire third movement.
Yes.
That has some of the prettiest melodies on it. And honestly, it is probably the most standout moment because it is not necessarily just ambience. There's music. There's like a melody to it. And it was really cool to hear the synths and the guitars kind of do like an interplay there, like some harmonizing. And I don't know, like that was like just kind of a introspective moment of beauty amongst all the other weird introspective moments.
It's still really dark. I don't want you to think that, a guitar comes in, there's melodies, and it's uplifting, and you're like skipping through a field. It's still super dark and kind of creepy at this point too, but still really fucking pretty.
This whole thing is very cinematic. Like, again, I wasn't thinking in terms of bands to compare this to because the only band I could think of is the one we're listening to, and that is Tangerine Dream.
Sure.
Because those guys know how to score movies, like a fucking ton of them, and sci-fi is well within their wheelhouse. But that whole sort of capturing like scenes in my head and just sort of a vibe, a feel, I don't know, like that really made this just quite the listen. Like, it's one of the most in-depth listens I've had this year because I was really just captivated by it. And it was also fucking super calm. Like, this is great music to fall asleep to in your fucking stasis chamber on your large ship before you go off to an alien world and get your chest pregnant.
I really think you could fall asleep to this. I'm definitely going to try meditation with this, to be honest.
This whole album is like a meditative state.
Yep. And then, of course, the last movement, the fourth movement, it's just kind of like the Last of the Mohicans. It almost fades out the same way it faded in the very beginning in the first movement of Io. The melody drops out. It just becomes void of everything else except synth noise. Nick then farted us into another reality.
Oh, it was a slow rolling heater, too.
Awful.
It was amazing. I've been more proud before, but I was pretty close to being like the proudest I've ever been.
It was bad.
The one thing I really noticed on the end of this is there's this static pulse, and it almost sounds like footsteps, like on, like a barren planet surface. And it was just kind of cool to hear it go from like this big, lush, grand thing to like kind of quietly getting more subdued.
Yeah, so it gets real big, and then it just sucks it all back in.
This whole thing could actually work as like one piece. Like, I don't really feel like they needed to separate the tracks at all. Like, maybe just another interesting transition between the two tracks. And honestly, like, we were thinking about this because this is so fucking vastly different than anything they've done. Like, you hear spacey stuff on their albums, that's pretty much a given. But this is all of that, and for over 40 minutes. And it almost feels like this should be its own project. Like, I get that they probably wanted the Blood Incantation moniker on it just because I mean, this is...
Of what they're themed anyway.
Yeah, this works with the themes.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
But sound-wise, night and fucking day, except, it's night and day on two different fucking planets.
Yep.
And honestly, I think this deserves its own moniker and, different band, honestly, because I would get this on its own. Like, I wouldn't just get this because it's Blood Incantation, which I am going to get this.
Right.
But I would get this if it was a separate project because, wow, they absolutely nailed it. And the thing that I love is they put the same amount of energy, thought, and heart that they do into what they usually do into this.
Right, and you can tell, too. You can tell that they really put some time and energy into this just because of the way it flows. And the pictures it paints as it flows. You get a lot of really cool mental pictures and, again, trance-inducing. I had a good time.
Yeah, this is probably going to be one of the more unique listens this year. I mean, I say that knowing there's still a whole bunch of weird shit that will probably come out this year, but this was memorable. And memorable in a good way.
Yes.
This wasn't well, that was just fucking weird. This was really, really fucking good. And yeah, I'm definitely going to go back to it. Now, I doubt that they ever play this live, just because when you go to a Blood Incantation show, you probably expect to hear what they usually do, and you should because they're incredible live. But I wouldn't mind hearing this, just sections of it as interludes between songs, if they just needed to change instruments or some shit.
I could hear them, coming on stage to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would work there, but it works here as an interesting kind of one-off album. I don't know if they might do another EP like this in the future, but I imagine it's going to be back to business as usual after this. But I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really like this. I could totally just chill the fuck out and relax to this. It's so warm and inviting, the memories of sci-fi movies I've seen in the past. And my God, again, the production, they fucking nailed it. It is perfect for what they're going for. And yeah, I love sci-fi shit. And this is the perfect accompaniment for it. So yeah, 4 stars. This is solid. Go get this.
I'm going to give it 3.5. Simply because I don't know. I still don't know what to make of it. To be honest with you, it's probably 3.5 right now, but I'm definitely going to listen to it more because I think there's certain things about this record that I'm not experiencing on this listen. I think actually there's more to hear to it, too.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to try it out again. What an interesting project from a band like this, too. And the fact that they have this other side to them, I agree. I agree with Nick. I think they need to maybe make it into another project that does stuff more like this. Because I could see something like this appearing on a myriad of different stages.
Oh, yeah.
They could easily open up for a lot of people and just have this as an experience. Because I don't think this record is split into 2 songs. You have to listen to it all at once to get the full effect. This is a hell of a listen, and again, it's not metal.
No.
It's not. If you're thinking you're going to get any glimpses of Blood Incantation throughout the rest of their albums, it's not happening on this. This is something...
anything remotely metal.
Right. It's something completely different, but it's a fun listen.
Yeah.
I won't deny that.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there'll be a link down below. There will also be a link down there for our giveaway for when we hit 10,000 subscribers, which, fuck, that's still, every time I say it,
it's out of this world. It's intergalactic.
Interplanetary niner vector quadrant. But anyway, we're doing a giveaway. We are going to be giving away a Alien Weaponry vinyl, a limited run, as well as a $100 gift card to Bandcamp, and one of our shirts, which, if you would like, you can order one on our website, thrallsmetal.com, which goes to our Shopify. And yeah, get yourself a shirt. We are super proud of this new design. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah,
you got fucking Mark Riddick art. That's
fucking
awesome.
Fucking cool.
But yeah, if you would like to get one, click that link down there. And as always, thank you all so fucking much. Yep. And we will catch you later.